Welcome to Vivid English Podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James. Hello, everyone. It is wonderful to be back in the studio with you all.
How are you doing today? You have such a big smile on your face.
I am doing fantastic. I really am. I feel full of energy because I just love the topic we are going to explore today. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. I'm also very excited. Today, we are going to talk about something that I think, every English learner dreams about. We're talking about learning from the absolute best.
That is right. Specifically, we're going to look at TED Talks. Now, everyone knows what a TED Talk is, right?
Oh, definitely. They're those famous videos where experts share these incredible ideas, but usually people watch them just for fun or to learn about science or psychology.
Exactly. But today, we're going to do something a little different. We're not just watching for the ideas. We have a specific mission.
Our mission is to explore how to speak like a pro. We want to help you, the listener, tell a truly compelling story in English.
We're going to analyze the structure, the body language, and the specific vocabulary that these world-class speakers use. We want to see what makes them sound so professional, yet so easy to understand.
That is the goal. We want you to sound professional, but also accessible. So where should we begin?
Well, I think we should start at the very beginning, the first 30 seconds.
The first 30 seconds. We call this the hook, right?
Yes, the hook. Imagine this. You walk onto a stage, the lights are bright, the audience is quiet, you have the microphone. What do you say?
It's such a scary moment. I think many learners would just say, "Hello, my name is Sarah, and today I will talk about English."
And sadly, that is where a lot of people lose their audience.
Really? Why is that bad?
It's not that it's bad, but it's a bit boring. In English-speaking cultures, and especially in presentations, you have to grab the audience's attention immediately. You need to hook them.
Like catching a fish.
Exactly like catching a fish.
I like that image. So what are some of the best ways to do that?
We looked at hundreds of popular talks, and we found 3 very common techniques. First, you can start with a surprising statistic. Second, you could ask a provocative question. Or third, you can tell a short personal story.
Okay, let's practice these. I know our listeners love specific phrases they can use. One of my favorites from our research is the phrase, "Imagine a world where..."
Oh, that is a classic. Imagine a world where. It is so powerful.
So why is that one so effective?
Because it invites the listener to use their imagination. It makes them active, not passive. For example, try finishing this sentence for me. Imagine a world where.
Okay, imagine a world where you could learn English perfectly in just one day.
See? Immediately, I'm interested. I want to live in that world. I want to know how.
That is a great trick. Okay, what is another template our listeners can use?
Another fantastic one is a question. The phrase is, have you ever wondered why?
Have you ever wondered why?
Exactly. This turns your topic into a mystery. For example, have you ever wondered why some people are always happy?
Ooh, I want to know the answer to that.
Right. It creates curiosity. If you can make your audience curious in the first 30 seconds, you have won. They will listen to the rest of your talk.
So the goal is just to grab them right away. So we have hooked the audience. Now we need to keep them interested. This brings us to our next big topic, the power of storytelling.
Yes. Storytelling. This is the heart of a great TED Talk. It's not just about giving data or, facts. It is about narrative.
Narrative. That essentially just means telling a story, right?
Yeah.
A story with a clear beginning, a middle, and an end.
Precisely. Even if you're giving a business presentation, you should be using this structure. The beginning introduces the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The middle is the journey or the research, and the end is the solution.
Problem, journey, solution. It sounds a lot like a movie script.
It is exactly like a movie. And to help the audience follow your movie, you need specific vocabulary, words that show movement.
We found some really great examples of this. One phrase I loved was turning points.
Turning points. This is a very, very useful phrase. It describes a moment where the situation changes completely.
Can you give us an example sentence?
Sure. You could say, the new strategy was a turning point for our company.
I see. So before that moment, things were one way, and after that moment, things were different.
Exactly. Another great phrase for the middle of your story is unexpected discoveries.
Unexpected discoveries. I like that word, unexpected. It just sounds exciting.
It does. It tells the audience, hey, listen to this. We found something surprising. It keeps them awake.
And then when we get to the end of the story, to the solution, there is a classic American English idiom we should use, the bottom line.
Ah, yes, the bottom line.
What does that actually mean?
Originally, it comes from finance. It refers to the final number at the bottom of a budget sheet, the
Sure.
profit or loss. But in conversation, it means the most important point.
So if I say the bottom line is, I'm telling the listener, this is the main conclusion.
Exactly. It creates a feeling of finality. It's very strong.
The bottom line is you need to practice.
Perfect usage.
Okay, so we have our structure, we have the hook, and we have the story. But communication is not just about the words coming out of our mouths, is it?
Not at all. In fact, a huge part of communication is visual. It's physical. We need to talk about body language, the silent language.
This is so hard for language learners. When I am speaking a second language, I'm usually so focused on grammar that I forget to move my body. I just stand there like a statue.
That is completely normal. Your brain is working so hard on the words. But if you can use your body, it actually helps the listener understand you better.
Let's talk about hands.
Hands. What should I do with them? Should I put them in my pocket?
No, please never put your hands in your pockets during a presentation. And don't cross your arms.
Oh. So what is the best gesture?
The best gesture is using open palms.
Open palms, so showing the inside of my hands to the audience.
Yes, just like that. It's a very old human signal. When you show your open palms, subconsciously, it tells the audience that you're honest. It says, I have nothing to hide. You can trust me. That is fascinating. Just by opening my hands, I can make people trust me more.
Yes, it demonstrates openness and vulnerability.
What about our eyes? Eye contact is so important in English culture, isn't it?
It is essential, but you have to be careful. You don't want to just stare at one person for 5 minutes. That would be scary.
Haha, yes. That would be very uncomfortable.
The trick is to connect with different sections of the audience. So imagine the room is divided into the 3 parts: left, center, and right.
Okay, left, center, right.
Look at the people on the left for one sentence. Then look at the center for the next sentence. Then you look to the right.
So you are including everyone in the conversation.
Exactly. It makes everyone feel involved. Now, there is one more body language technique that I think is the most powerful of all, but it is actually about stopping.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The dramatic pause.
Yes, the power of silence.
This is really difficult. It feels so awkward.
It feels awkward for the speaker, yes. We feel like we need to fill every second with sound. But for the listener, silence is a gift.
A gift? How is it a gift?
It gives them time to think. If you say something very important and then you pause for 2 seconds, it lets that information sink into their brains.
Yeah, I see. So it creates emphasis.
Exactly. If you want to highlight your best idea, put a pause right after it. Do not be afraid of silence.
That is great advice. Silence creates confidence. Okay, let's take a closer look at the words themselves. We talked about structure, but what kind of vocabulary should we be using?
This is an interesting point. Many learners think they need to use very long, complicated academic words to sound smart.
Like they swallowed a dictionary.
Uh-huh, yes. But if you listen to the best TED speakers, they don't do that. They use a level of vocabulary that is professional, but not academic.
It's like the Goldilocks story. Not too simple, not too hard. It's just right.
Goldilocks level. I love that description. It is sophisticated, but still easy for a general audience to understand.
So, can we give our listeners some examples of these Goldilocks words?
Definitely. The best place to upgrade your vocabulary is with your verbs, action verbs.
Action verbs. Okay.
We have 4 powerful verbs that you should really try to use. The first one is transform.
Transform. That means to change, right?
Yes, but it is much stronger than change. Change is kind of a weak verb. Transform means to change something completely. Instead of saying, we changed the system, say, we transformed the system.
That sounds much more impressive. Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is innovate.
Innovate.
This means to create something new or to find a new way of doing things. We need to innovate to stay ahead.
I like it. It sounds very modern. What is number 3?
The third one is collaborate.
Collaborate. This is a professional way of saying work together,
It's
right?
exactly. I want to collaborate with your team. It implies a real partnership.
And the last one?
The last one is advocate.
Advocate. Can you explain this one?
To advocate means to support or recommend something publicly. For example, I advocate for better education. It shows that you strongly believe in the idea.
Transform, innovate, collaborate, advocate. These are such strong words.
They really are. And one more thing about vocabulary. We need to connect our ideas smoothly. We need transition phrases.
Yes, we can't just jump from one idea to another. We need a bridge.
Exactly. A very simple classic bridge is, this brings me to my next point.
This brings me to my next point. Very clear.
And if you want to summarize or look at the context, you can say, let us take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Let us take a step back and look at the bigger picture. I use that one all the time. It helps everyone reset and focus on the main goal.
It is a fantastic phrase.
Now, we've talked about the theory, we have the hook, the story, the body language, the vocabulary, but how do we actually practice this? You mentioned a trend for 2026 involving AI.
Yes. This is where learning gets really exciting. We're seeing a new trend called AI-assisted TED learning.
Wow. How does that work?
Learners are using AI tools to help them study these talks. You can use an AI to generate interactive summaries of the talk to check your understanding. Or you can even role play as the speaker.
That's incredible. So you can pretend to be the expert.
Exactly. And there's a specific quote from our research that I think is really helpful. One learner said, I used an AI tool to shadow the speaker's intonation, and it really helped my rhythm.
That is a great tip. Shadowing intonation is so key.
And that leads us perfectly to the ultimate practice method,
And
shadowing.
Shadowing. I always tell my students to do this. It is my #1 tip.
It is the most effective way to improve pronunciation and fluency. But can you explain exactly how to do it? Some people get confused.
Sure. It is actually very simple, but you have to do it correctly. Step 1, play a video of a speaker you like. Play it for just about 10 seconds.
Just 10 seconds. Okay.
Step 2, pause the video. Step 3, repeat exactly what the speaker said, and I mean exactly. Match their emotion, match their speed. If they pause, you pause.
So you are acting like a mirror.
Yes, you are copying them completely.
And why does this work so well?
Well, you're the expert on the why.
It works because it builds muscle memory. Speaking a language is physical. Your mouth muscles need to learn how to move like a native speaker. Shadowing trains those muscles.
It's like going to the gym for your mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a workout for your tongue and lips. If you do this for just 5 minutes a day, you will see a huge improvement.
I love that. Okay, so we have practiced, we have our vocabulary, and we have told our story. Now we are at the end of the presentation. We need to close the deal.
Closing the deal, the call to action.
Is it enough to just say thank you and walk away?
No, definitely not. That is a missed opportunity. You want to end on a high note. You want people to remember you.
So what should we say?
You should give the audience a task or a challenge. A great phrase to use is, my challenge to you is.
My challenge to you is that is very direct. I like
It is. It forces the listener to think about what they will do next. Another good one is, what will you do with this information?
What will you do with this information? It puts the responsibility on the listener. It makes them an active participant.
Exactly. You want them to leave the room thinking about your message.
You know, talking about all this makes me want to go watch a TED Talk right now. Do you have a personal favorite talk?
I do. My favorite talk is about the power of introverts. It really changed how I view quiet people in the workplace. The speaker is very gentle, but so powerful. What about you?
Mine is a very famous one about the secret to happiness. It's such a beautiful and inspiring talk. It uses a lot of data, but it tells this wonderful story.
Those both sound wonderful. And, this connects to the bigger picture.
Oh, look at you using the transition phrase.
I had to try it. But really, whether the topic is introverts or happiness or technology, language is the bridge.
Language is the bridge. That's lovely.
Yes, language connects the speaker to the listener. And by using these techniques, the hook, the story, the body language, you are building a stronger bridge.
That is a beautiful way to put it. It is not just about perfect grammar. It is about connection.
Precisely.
Well, I think we have given our listeners a lot of tools today.
I agree. We've covered a lot of ground.
We talked about the hook grabbing attention in the first 30 seconds with phrases like, imagine a world.
We discussed storytelling using the problem, journey, solution structure to guide the audience like a movie.
We looked at body language, using open palms to show honesty and using eye contact to include everyone.
And we learned some powerful Goldilocks vocabulary like innovate and advocate.
And we talked about shadowing and using AI to practice your rhythm and intonation.
It's a complete toolkit for mastering English presentations.
I really hope everyone listening tries at least one of these techniques this week. Maybe try the shadowing technique for just 5 minutes.
That's a great idea. Just 5 minutes a day can make a huge difference in your fluency.
It really can. Well, this has been such a fun conversation. Thank you for sharing all your insights.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure to discuss Liswich with you. And thank you to everyone listening. We know learning a language is a journey, and we are so happy to be part of yours.
Absolutely. We are cheering for you.
Before we go, we have one small favor to ask.
Yes. If you enjoyed our conversation today and want to keep improving your English with us, please don't forget to subscribe and come back to the Vivid English Podcast.
That is right. Be sure to tune in to Vivid English Podcast next time. We have many more exciting topics coming up.
We certainly do. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful week.
Yes, have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.